What are the best low-budget forex robots for small accounts? Can you start trading if you only have $500 as trading capital? Absolutely. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 robots that are producing solid results in our live accounts. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll also show you 2 more robots that work well on smaller accounts and a simple way to calculate exactly how much to risk on each trade. And the first robot that we're going to be looking at is the Dark Gold. And as you can see, we have had this EA trading for just about exactly a year now. It is on a $1,000 live account, and we have already made a withdrawal in this account. You can see that our max floating loss in this account has been under 15%. And if we look at the track record, we've got a very steady line, a few drawdowns, but really nothing significant. And you can see that we are making just over 2% per month in this account. And as I mentioned earlier, there is our withdrawal there, and the account is steadily going up. If we look at the Dark Gold on the vendor's website, this EA costs $199, and that is for 5 licenses. For $299, you can get 10 licenses, and I will leave a coupon code down in the description if you would like a 10% discount. The second EA is the MultiPair, so let's do a search for that. We have got a trading on a few accounts and on a few different currencies, and we'll look at the top one, which is the one that's been trading for about a year. If we look at the track record, it has have drawdowns from time to time, but it does grow steadily, and in this account we have already requested 3 withdrawals. We've got a profit factor of 1.92 and a monthly return of around 7%, which is awesome, and we've had a max floating loss in the account of 41%. But considering that this account is making about 7% per month, absolutely acceptable. And if we take a look at the vendor's page, you can see that the EA costs $229. However, I will leave a coupon code in the description for you for a discount. And there is a fair amount of information on this page. We've got some live trading results from the vendor as well. And if you go down, there are other EAs that this vendor does. And one of them is the Japan Strike, and that is the next one that we're going to be looking at. So let's go back to our live trading results. We're going to do a search for the Japan Strike. Here it is here. In this account, we're getting a little under 4% per month. We have requested $400 in withdrawals already, and it's been trading for a little over 400 days, and we've had a maximum drawdown or a maximum floating loss of 25%. If we look at the track record, what we can see is again similar to what we saw on the others. So the account grows with a few drawdowns in between. We have a withdrawal there, account grew, another withdrawal there, and currently the account is on track for another withdrawal. It is currently on $1,171, so we're about $30 away from our 3rd withdrawal, which I imagine will happen relatively soon. Okay, and again, if we go to the vendor page, similar to the MultiPair, you can see that it's $229. Again, I will leave a coupon code for you in the description, and this EA trades only the dollar-yen. So as the name suggests, Japan Strike, it is a Japanese yen robot. And for the $229, you'll see that you get 1 live plus 1 devo or 2 live account licenses. So also very good value for money, same as the MultiPair EA, where for this price you also get 2 licenses, either 1 live and 1 demo or 2 live accounts. So the next thing that we're going to look at is an image that I prepared for you before the video, and you can see that these are the top 3 EAs for a $500 account, the 3 EAs that we just looked at. We've got the Dark Gold, the MultiPair, and the Japan Strike. Now, based on our backtest and our live results, if you are trading at the smallest lots, which is 0.01, right, you should never really trade anything bigger than this in a $500 account, but you can see that your max expected drawdown based on the backtest as well as our live results is $75. Okay, so that equates to about 15%, kind of exactly what we saw in the live account, and your expected monthly return would be around 2.5%. With the MultiPair EA, our max drawdown is at about 155, which is about 31%, so it is higher than the Dark Gold, however still well within our threshold, and again an expected monthly return of 2.76. And then in 3rd spot we've got the Japan Strike, where the max drawdown according to the backtests is 201, which works out to about 40%, and there we've got a much higher monthly return of over 4%. So these are all suitable for a $500 account. Keep in mind that you do need to be trading the smallest lot possible. However, if you want to trade these in a $1,000 account, what you can do is you can just very simply calculate it based on these numbers here. So for example, if you're going to be trading 0.01 lots, you can expect your drawdown to be half the size here, and your monthly return would be the same. However, if you doubled your lot size, what you can expect is your drawdown to be double the size and your monthly return to be doubled as well. It doesn't work out exactly like that, but it's a very good rule of thumb to work with, and that is generally how we backtest and how we calculate the lot sizes that we want to trade on each particular account size. And I'm going to show you that a little bit later in the video in much more detail. Now, before I show you the two additional EAs, please take a moment to check if you're subscribed to the channel. Our analytics show most people watching aren't subscribed yet, which means you could be missing real EAs, real trading accounts, and real results that may help you make better trading decisions. Best of all, it's completely free and only takes one click. That's it. Thank you. Now, the next EA that we're going to look at is the Aussie Victor, and let's do a quick search for it. Here it is here. Now, this EA is relatively new. We've been trading it for about 2 months in a live account. We did have it on a demo account for quite a long time, and the results look very promising. I believe there's about 15% growth in the demo account as it stands now. But let's take a look at our live results. So you can see that we've been trading it for about 2 months. It's got a very high profit factor of 4.35. It's made 5% or over 5% in fact, and a monthly return of a little under 2% at this stage. And if we look at the track record, it's a very smooth equity line, a little bit of a drawdown here, but really nothing much to speak of. You can see that the max floating loss was only 3%. And if we take a look at the vendor's website on the Aussie Victor, the EA costs $290. Again, I will leave a coupon code in the description where you can get a discount if you want to buy it, and you can see a little bit more information on the page. There is a real account track record here, and then there are backtest results here as well. And the last EA that we're going to look at today is the Happy Index. Let's do a search for it once again. Here it is here. Now you can see that we've been trading this for almost 6 months. It makes a huge monthly profit of around 7%. We've had a max floating loss of 20%, and it's made over 50% in the account, and we have already requested 2 withdrawals, and you can see that those are here and here. It does go through drawdowns from time to time, but very, very steady growth. Really, it looks, if you look at the growth between the withdrawals, it's virtually identical. So this is quite a stable and consistent EA, and it has been doing quite well for us. If we look at the vendor's website, the Happy Index costs 329 euros. So this is the most expensive out of all the EAs that I'm showing you. However, for the price, you also get a bonus Happy Forex full pack. Now that includes 10 EAs, as the name suggests, and one of them is the Happy Gold, one of our most profitable and most successful gold trading robots that we have been trading, and we've been trading it for a long time. I recorded a video about it recently. If you missed that, I'll link to it down below in the description. But even though it is more expensive, because of the bonus that you're getting with it, it really does make it very cost effective, because effectively you are going to get 11 EAs for this price. Now let's take a look at another image that I prepared for you, where we're going to look at the last 2 EAs, and that's the Aussie Victor and the Happy Index. Our drawdown at 0.01 lots in a $500 account is about $330. So that does equate to about 66%. Now, if you're going to trade a small account, you have to accept that there are going to be risks. Okay, if you want to make a decent monthly profit, there will be risks. The expected monthly return based on the backtest is 5.62. Now let me take a moment to actually show you that backtest. Okay, so for that, we're going to go to our VPS where we have trading, and what we're going to do is we're going to run a test. Okay, so if we go to the inputs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the set file that we are currently using. I'm going to open that, and I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to test this on a $1,000 account. Okay, you can see that it is on the Aussie CAD. I'm going to backtest it for 5 years. So from the beginning of June 2021 until the 12th of June, which is today's date. I'm going to put a delay of 15 milliseconds. We're going to put this on every tick based on real ticks, and this will give us the most accurate backtest. As I mentioned, $1,000 deposit on the dollar with a leverage of 1 to 100. I'm going to click on start, and this will take a while, but I'll ask the editors to speed it up in the edit. Okay, so our backtest is finished, and you can see a very, very smooth equity and balance line. The only real drawdown was this one here. If we look at the backtest results, we had a max equity drawdown of 15%. However, this at the time of the drawdown equated to $330. So when we're backtesting, what we're looking at, what is the dollar value of the max drawdown? Because we have to assume that if we place this onto an account and we get the max drawdown on day one, how is that going to affect our balance in the account? In this case, it would have been 33% because it is a $1,000 account that we're backtesting on. However, if we go back to the images, there's a $330 backtest, which would have been 33% on a $1,000 account, but on a $500 account, it's 66%. Now, again, it recovered. We've seen that this does do very well, both in our live trading account, as well as on the backtest, and you can expect 5.5% a month, but you do have to accept the risk. I'm going to show you one of our VIP members who's trading it. So we're going to go to the results. We'll go to the VIP Club portfolios. Let's do a search for it again. Okay, and here it is here. So this VIP member has it trading in 2 accounts. However, in one, he's trading it together with the market master. So we're not going to look at that one, but we are going to look at the Aussie Victor in this live account here. You can see that he's been trading it for a little over 6 months, and his monthly return is 4.3%. So very similar to what we saw, and he has already requested a withdrawal of $300. If you remember, the EA was $290, so he's basically made back all his money for the EA, and everything he makes now is pure profit. In 6 months, he's made 33%, and if we look at his track record, it went down initially. I guess here he would have changed the settings, and it's been going steadily up, and here is his withdrawal right here. Now, as you saw, these EAs are very well suited to smaller accounts of $500 or $1,000. But what if you wanted to trade a bigger account? If you only had $500 in capital, but you wanted to trade a bigger account so that you could potentially increase your profits without risking more? Let me show you. So in this case, we would look at something like iFunds. If you want to start with a 5K trading account, that'll cost you only $400. For $400, you get a $5,000 trading account. So you got $5,000 in capital to trade with. Of course, there are limitations, and that is primarily the drawdown limits. All right. So on iFunds, you can set what you want your drawdown limit to be. So depending on how much risk you're going to take with EA or how it backtests, how you've seen it trading in a demo or a live account, you would set the max drawdown that you would want. In this case, let's leave it at 10%, and you can see then you get a 50% profit split. Now you can request this profit whenever you want to. What we generally prefer to do is to let the account grow for a while and then scale it up. And how you do that is because with iFunds you have a static drawdown limit. So what that means is that, let's say for example on a 5K account, $500 is 10% of $5,000. So what you need to do is you need to just keep your account above $4,500 at all times. So as your account grows, it can go to $5,500, $6,000, $7,000. As long as you keep the equity in your account above $4,500, you're safe. Okay, you don't need to worry. And doing it that way, what it actually does is it increases your drawdown limits, because as your account grows, the size of your drawdown that you can have in the account can grow as long as it doesn't go below $4,500 in this particular case, a 5K account with a 10% drawdown limit. So the next question, of course, is with the EAs that I've shown you, how would you set these up to trade on a bigger account? Because what we were looking at is 0.01 lots on a $500 or a $1,000 account, okay? So how would you trade these? How would you scale these? How would you set these up for a bigger account? Let me show you. We're going to look at what it would be like with a 10% max DD. You'll see here it is here. After this, I'm going to show you another image, which would be my recommendation. But if you're going to do it with the 10% max drawdown limit applied, if we look at all 5 of the EAs very quickly, you can see that with a dark gold, with a drawdown at 0.01, as we saw before, it was $75. So for a bigger account, what that means is you could trade this at about 0.06. Your estimated max drawdown would be $450, so you would be at 9%. And your estimated monthly gain would be $76 or about 1.5%. With a multipair, you can scale this up to 0.03 lots. Your expected drawdown on 5,000 would be 9.5%, and your estimated monthly gain would be a little under 1%. With a Japan strike, scale it up to 0.02 lots. Your estimated max DD would be $400, which would be about 8%. You can work on around $84 a month in profit, which works out to 1.7%. The Aussie Victor, we have a suggested lot size of still 0.01. Your estimated max DD, as we saw, would be 330. That would be approximately 6.6%, $28 a month, and about 0.5% in profit. Now, if you remember what I said about scaling it, this is where iFunds really does work so much better than prop firms. Because although initially you're only going to be looking at getting 0.5% per month, as soon as your account grows to $5,700 or $5,800, you're giving yourself that additional buffer in terms of the drawdown. So what you could do at that point is you could scale this up to 0.02. I recorded an in-depth video about this some time ago, and if you missed it, I will link to it down below in the description, but it shows you exactly how you can quickly scale your account to get to your desired profit targets much quicker because you have that static drawdown available to you. And then lastly, the happy index, we're going to trade this with a much bigger lot size of 0.2 because it is indices. You can usually trade a higher lot size. Your estimated maximum drawdown would be $478, which would be about 9.5%, and your estimated monthly gain would be about $180, so significantly higher than the others, and that would give you a little over 3.5% per month. Last thing I want to show you before we finish up is how you would set these up if you wanted to give yourself a little bit of a buffer. So maybe in the beginning you don't want to trade with a 10% max DD, you'd prefer to keep it a bit safer and keep your max DD at 8% just to give yourself a little bit more of a buffer, which you can obviously at a later stage scale up as I explained. I'm not going to go through it all, but the dark gold would be suggested at 0.05%, the MultiPair at 0.02, Japan Strike at 0.01, the Aussie Victor stays at 0.01, and the happy index drops slightly to 0.16. Your max expected drawdown remains below 8%, and your monthly percentages go down slightly, but again, you could scale these up quite quickly as your account grows and end up trading a much bigger account. 5K is the starting balance, but obviously as your account grows, you'll be trading more capital. So hopefully this video showed you that getting started with algo trading doesn't require a huge amount of capital. What's far more important is choosing the right EA, using sensible risk, and understanding how much drawdown your account can handle and setting up your EA accordingly. Whether you're starting with $500 or a little more, the principles remain the same. Focus on consistency, manage your risk properly, and let the numbers guide your decisions, not your emotions. If you're already trading any of the EAs mentioned in this video, please let me know in the comments how they're performing for you. And if you'd like to see a video where I showed the real difference in results with the dark gold between a live and funded account with real withdrawals, check out this video here. As always, thanks for watching, trade safe, and I'll see you soon.